the city of New York, dogs were allowed on public transit only if they could fit inside of a bag that their owner was carrying. So people were getting like giant duffel bags and putting their huskies in them and carrying them on trains and the subway. Trains and the subway are the same thing. Buses in the subway. 2 autism?
Not yet.
1 autism. 2 autism?
2 furious.
Cool. I'm so happy you were ready for that.
I wasn't ready.
And I was lying.
Bringing it around town. Oh, from overhead.
Stop!
Would you say you're getting a little bit angry?
10 furious.
9 furious.
8 furious. Ow. I've already hurt my throat.
2 autism.
2 furious. I almost just fully...
2 autism.
2 furious.
2 autism.
2 furious.
2 autism.
2 furious. Hello.
And other things. Hello.
I was about to say 2 mindful, 2 movement. That's not this.
No.
Hello.
Hello.
So you had a topic of discussion. Are you close?
To starting the video?
Yeah, please.
2 autism?
2 furious. Yeah. So you had a topic of discussion.
So, I mean, I had the hot.
I can't help because I have no clue what you're trying to say. One of us has near crippling ADHD.
And PDA. And migraines, which is actually what's going on. I mean, it's kind of all.
It's kind of it all.
It's not a up here pain migraine. It's in my jaw here. And as long as I don't have a rapid temperature change, it doesn't hurt, but it is having some neurological effects.
Is it?
No.
Oh, you just lied about that?
I'm lying.
Damn. It's kind of messed up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If there were neurological effects, what would they be?
Maybe like some delayed speech.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are the 3 other things about it?
Slurring even, or stuttering. Yeah, I'm so sorry about the slurs. It's just for my migraine.
You can't call them that. They're the host and the editors. I'm so sorry about the slurs.
I had originally thought of doing
Perception.
Yeah, like I think we can perception. What's that about?
What even is this looking at things thing?
When people look at you and they think that's you, isn't that crazy?
Ain't that just something? And boy, do I hate it. I have been having I'm just going to dive in because you seem like you are struggling, and this is as good an on-ramp as I think we're going to get.
Okay.
I have been struggling a lot with making these videos lately because...
Lately?
Yes.
From the beginning, from 2 years ago.
I'm so glad you found your voice. It's great. I'm so happy.
I never stutter over criticism. If I can correct
arguing with me about my feelings.
If I can correct you.
About my feelings.
Oh yeah, I'll do it without a stutter. It is important to note that it's not like an isolated event. It's not it's just that we started filming again recently.
Yeah, and I could have maybe talked about that.
I'm sorry. My bad.
So I have always had trouble with seeing myself on camera or hearing my voice recorded. I don't have a very positive mental image, I guess, is the most concise way to put it. I feel like I look and sound weird and do weird things on camera. So it's been a while since we have just like sat down or recorded things where it's just a sit down extended shot of of me on camera. Um, and we are going from the TikTok format, which is, you know, a small phone screen vertical.
Should we turn that light on?
Probably. We took kind of an extended break from, or I took more accurately, because you've been on camera consistently the whole time. Haven't you?
No, my my social media presence wee little last year.
But it was okay.
Anyway.
But you were always more frequently on camera than I was, and more recently than I was.
Sure.
So, coming back to recording Too Autism, Too Furious again, and being on camera, but now in a new format where, at least for us, like, we watch YouTube on a TV screen. And, you know, so it's a widescreen format. And I take up a lot more screen space. Not necessarily by percentage, just by actual area. Than I did on the TikToks. And I've been having a lot of difficulty with that. Because I get very, very self-conscious about what I'm doing with my hands, what I'm doing with, like, my body, what my voice sounds like. I can't stand what my recorded voice sounds like. And I get, like, really, really anxious about long pauses. And, like, the more nervous I get, like, I start slurring. And
Slur.
I get self-conscious about that. Because it's like, I know it's important to speak clearly when you're being recorded. And then I feel like I can't do that anymore. Yeah. And it's deeply unpleasant. You asked me earlier this morning to record, and I couldn't do it because the thought of being on camera and on mic was very overwhelming, and I'm still stressed about it right now. I feel like I'm frozen because I'm afraid of doing anything that would be picked up on camera.
And what would happen?
It would be recorded, and it would be, I don't know, embarrassing. It would be embarrassing, and I feel like I am afraid of doing anything on camera that I could be like, I don't want to be seen as weird. When I watch myself back on recordings, I feel like I look very stilted and unnatural. Like first day in the human body type thing.
Okay.
And I don't think you look like that.
What do I look like?
like you've been a human for the past 28 years. You look like you are natural and comfortable.
I am far more fluid than you are in general, and I've worked to get to that point. I have spent a lot of time when I was younger, because I masked so highly. You don't have to mask as much. I know that, like, you put you having like reactions and enthusiasm is masking for you. I know that. But you you still are mostly like a flat affect, and you never like faked interest in people. You did not like work to make your internal landscape normal and your external like narrative normal. Like those things uh the way that you masked was very different, and I think it's because of the way that we were socialized differently. Because you, as a strong Christian male,
Hey.
you were allowed to be less.
A little more wooden.
Yeah.
Because it could be sturdy.
Yeah. Whereas I spent, until probably this last year, so 2024, I've spent much of my free time looking in mirrors. I was very concerned with my perception, like the perception of me. And I wanted to make sure that when I smiled, it looked like a person smiled, right? And I would just make tons of faces at myself in the mirror. And so all of my expressions used to be so
practiced.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like they were fake. It was I understand that this is the emotion that I am trying to get across, so this is what I am doing.
This is how you display it.
Kylo Ren.
I really appreciated when they walked in that they kept their tails below the camera line.
Yeah, so and now, because, like I said, I have gotten a lot more intentional about not monitoring myself, not policing every little thing that I do, and like the way that I hold my face and stuff. It's crazy, especially because, like, I have missing teeth now, and the way that my jaw like catches and stuff, I do a lot of unconscious mouth movements just because I am uncomfortable with having a mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice that stuff in videos because it's not practiced anymore. But for me, it's because I shouldn't have to be practiced. It is okay that I just exist as a person. And that's another thing, is that like when because I have a very difficult time with not really like pressured, like speaking under pressure. It's more of it takes it is really hard because I have to do so many layers of interpretation between what I'm thinking and what I am able to get out of my mouth and say. And in the time in between, I will completely forget everything that I was saying or what I meant to be saying or what I have already said, and I'll only know what I'm saying next. And so I will have no idea if what I've said matches with what I had been saying at all because of my ADHD. Like that, it really it impacts my ability to
Hi, can you tell
make
that I'm
sense.
stressed?
My ability to make sense.
Right.
But there was a point in what I was just saying about my words. Naga, mouth closed, please. Naga. Thank you.
Go on, baby.
Oh, so when it gets particularly difficult, I in general sound extremely like certain and authoritative when I speak, and that is literally just because that's the only way that I can get words out. And by like having these statements and using hand gestures, I'm able to direct.
Sort of bring your brain back into focus.
Yeah, and it's like I have these bullet points because the only way that I can figure out how to talk and how to remember things is because I write it all down in my head, so I'm reading, right? And so I am reading bullet points as if they are fact when it's just my thoughts that sometimes I haven't even thought all the way through yet. But I sound extremely certain, and when it gets really really difficult, because I'm just like reacting to like what you're saying, then I sound very condescending. And it's literally only because I am uncertain whether the questions that I am asking or the things that I'm saying are what I want to be saying. And so I say them like this because I'm wondering if this is the right thing to be saying. And I sound like I'm belittling you.
Yeah.
And it's really just because it's reflecting how I'm thinking internally,
Where
like focused inward.
The statements are actually questions.
It's genuine questions of you, and like the tone is a lot about me getting it out of my mouth so it's kind of disjointed. And I think when your words are kind of disjointed, they end up sounding condescending.
Yeah.
Because each individual syllable or word
has an upward
has
note.
its own thing. Yeah. And for me, it's just because like I'm getting word by word from my brain, and it's really stressful because I don't know what my entire sentence is or what my entire like thought is in this thing. And so for like that is the way that like watching myself, I'm like, I know for a fact that I didn't feel the way that I sound. I did not feel that way, but I said it anyway. And it's just sometimes people do like correctly interpret my tone, or at least aren't offended by it, like in videos and stuff. Other times, the way that I say things makes people listen, even if I don't fucking know what I'm saying.
Because you say it with an internal authority.
Right. But I still like when I watch stuff back, I still am like, man, like I look like an asshole. I look like an asshole here. Like this sucks so much. But like if someone first off, I guess a lot of times when people say things, I don't care. It's like, okay, whatever. Like you're allowed to think that I said it like that. Like I don't, and that has been a big practice. I'm fine.
You're warm.
My fingies are cold.
Yeah, but your head is warm.
No, it's fine.
Put your fingers on your head. Yeah.
This feels good. But
yeah, your fingers are freezing. Your head is cooking.
But I
just take a minute.
Oh, but I think I've just being able to have people comment on like their perception of me has really helped me to deconstruct how tightly managed my like outward performance used to be. And so like it has helped me
like relax.
Yeah. And it's like people are going to have opinions no matter how I like manage myself. And they're allowed to, and it does not change my intentions or anything. And sometimes it does change my impact, and being able to experience having an unintentional impact and then like apologizing for it without aggressively
Like self-flagellating.
no, without aggressively defending myself. Like, that wasn't what I was saying. That's not what I meant. You know,
Because it a little bit doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter, because that doesn't matter at all. And so I think that I would not have gotten to where I am with being able to not explain myself and just take responsibility if it needs to be taken. And it's totally fine. Like, it is okay. It's okay if people don't like me. It is all right if, like, forgiveness is not given for a thing that I never intended, but I did apologize for. Like, I have gotten to get a much broader view of people. And I think that's really worked into my like my worldview and my politics. It like I think I am a better person for it.
Okay.
So you hate the way you sound.
I do. And I think, like, on truly just a basic level, it is a sort of universal human experience that you're kind of uncomfortable looking at your own reflection or uncomfortable hearing your voice recorded.
I don't mind those things.
You also do it a lot more than the average person. You see yourself in pictures and videos, and you hear your voice
I don't
recorded.
think more than the average person.
I would say so.
I don't think so. People in general like taking pictures of themselves.
Yeah, but they don't.
They like taking videos with friends and stuff. You are extremely averse to those things. You are not normal.
It is a normal phenomenon that people generally are a little bit uncomfortable with hearing their voice recorded because it does not sound the same in a recording as it does in your own ear, because your bones conduct directly to your ear differently. My discomfort with that is ratcheted up to 11. And the same thing, like, people talk about, if you stare at your own face in a mirror for like 10 minutes, you start to freak out.
Okay.
I don't feel like I need that long. I'm kind of a pro. But, like, generally speaking, people have...
Baby.
I don't...
It doesn't matter.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
What I am saying... Okay, so the point wasn't for you just to go right back into talking about your discomfort. The reason why I spoke was to bring more perspective into your point. It's supposed to inform your thoughts and feelings. That's what conversations are for gaining. It's for letting your thoughts change. Arguments are when you don't let your thoughts change. Conversation is collaborative. Whoa.
Nice baton twirl.
Thanks. I love involuntary moo cow mints.
Involuntary cow. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting cow.
I don't want to do that.
Hmm?
I don't want to do that.
What do you mean?
I don't want to.
I've completely lost track of what I was wanting to
Collaborative
say.
process. So
Yeah.
it wasn't about going right back to what you were saying before. How I think of being perceived and the benefit versus the convex,
I don't know. Constantinople.
Sequences?
I already forgot what you were trying to say.
What's a con? So, like, you were talking about your insecurities.
Yeah.
And so then I talked about my insecurities. And then I also talked about what I think, like, the outweighs the insecurities.
Because you're saying there are benefits to being recorded even when you're in a state where you feel like you are not, like, presenting your best self. Even just as simple as people not liking how you are presenting yourself when you're not presenting your best self. And that feedback existing in the world, you feel like is a benefit to you.
Because I actively process those things.
Because I'm considering what you're saying and trying to slot that into the insecurities that I have about, like, I guess, assuming that there is a benefit to be found by me being recorded when I feel uncomfortable. Right?
Do you ever feel comfortable being recorded?
No.
Okay.
So then, what is that benefit? Because, well, yeah, and that's the thing too, is like you're talking about, there are times when you do feel like in your element and like you are presenting your best self.
I didn't say that, actually.
I felt like that was the implication. Are there those times?
Not really, because, okay, this, I mean, again, I guess it all goes in the theme of being perceived. Like, last year, my teeth breaking, like my visible teeth breaking, and then having meltdown after meltdown and having to shave off my hair because it was too overstimulating. And then winter hitting. It just like felt like back to back to back, right? My level of, and it was in positive and negative ways. Like my level of care about my like appearance and style and presence was basically zero. And as much as me not like feeling attractive is a negative thing, me not feeling monitored and like perceived constantly and as if it doesn't matter what I look like or what I do because I am just myself anyway is a huge positive. So like although it like attractive wise I probably have the lowest opinion of myself than like I've ever had. It's a lot of that is because I don't spend all of my time making sure that I look good and that I am going to be perceived right and going to be like interesting and attractive. You know what I mean? That like I think the positive outweighs the negative there.
So like you feel, are you saying you feel like you are the least attractive you've ever looked because it has mattered the least to you ever in your life?
I think it's I don't think it's I don't think I'm able to separate the intentionality from the base. Like it's the chicken and the egg.
What is the chicken and what is?
I think that I am the least attractive that I have ever been in general. And I am far less concerned with my like a public appearance and perception. And I don't think I think the one is because of the other.
One didn't necessarily cause the other, but they kind of...
They can't, like, I can't separate them. I have half-heartedly tried, like, several times. But, like, I watched that video that I made about feeling uncomfortable because I was, like, fatter, but, like, just in my stomach than I'd ever been. And, like, I just was really focused on it, and so it was really uncomfortable. Like, I was just uncomfortable with how I looked in all of the videos. And that was, like, a year and a half ago. Or 2 years ago. Year and a half ago. And, like, I watched it back. And I was just, like, watching it made me feel kind of nauseous because for me, all I could see is in every way that I cared. And, like, I don't relate to that person who cared so much. Right? And so it's very, I don't know how to, I guess I've been debating on whether it is important for me to find myself attractive or not. Because if I can only find myself attractive if I am, like, performing conventions and, like, paying attention all the time.
Is that worth it?
And, like, no, it's not. That isn't worth it. So, but...
Are you asking yourself if it is important for you to feel attraction towards yourself? Not the right wording. Feel like you are an attractive person even when you are not performing attraction.
Right. And, like, I don't...
performing beauty.
Yeah. And, like, that has to be a no, right? That has to be a no. That has to not matter.
Whether you... Forgot what I said.
I guess...
You're saying it... Oh, hang on.
It kapooey.
Hang on.
It kapoof.
God, I'm doing, like, mental long division. And I was never good at that. Okay. So, you are saying you don't know if you can feel like you are attractive unless you are performing beauty. You do not think that feeling attractive is worth performing beauty, right? Is that the right order of that? You don't know if you can feel attractive when you are not performing beauty, and you are asking if it is important for you to be able to feel attractive when not performing beauty.
And my answer is no.
You don't think it's important to feel attractive even when you're not performing beauty. It is okay to not feel attractive.
Yeah, it is okay that my self-identity is not based solely on my likability and presentability. And that is progress.
Okay, that's a one way. I was taking it as, like, well, I guess a couple ways. Like, it doesn't matter if anyone else thinks I am attractive. I think I am attractive.
And I do not. It doesn't matter if anyone else thinks I'm attractive. I don't.
And you are okay with that more. You think that is good. I think it's two ways of getting to the same result.
Yeah, but what I was trying to say a little bit anyway is that I am comfortable letting questionable or ugly feelings Like sit and stew when it's just like me and how I'm perceiving myself or perceiving the world or whatever. Well, I have a very very strong narrative of what I think is like good and right and healthy and kind. And so when I am feeling things about myself or anything that is uh, not in line with what intellectually I know I agree with, when I'm feeling those things, I am more than okay with letting it sit for a while. Be that, like a day, a week, or a year, just to see how it changes if I find something more useful out of the experience of those feelings.
Hmm.
Because when I interact with the world, I'm not feelings first. Again, we are very,
We're
very
very different.
different. Like you interpret the world all through your feelings. You interpret your day through your feelings, yourself through your feelings. Everything is only informed by feelings though. And I find it, obviously because I am very different, I find that incredibly harmful and scary because it's so unreliable. Because I know that my feelings are very, very big. You don't have, your feelings aren't usually quite as big as mine. I feel extremely about everything. Everything that I feel any type of way about, it's so big, overwhelmingly big. And I have to create a safe space, a safe environment internally to have those giant, stupid feelings and not feel like who I am has changed and my world and my life and my safety. I have to know that all of those things are still like firm and how they were before I started having these feelings. So the way that I approach the world is very much, I have big meltdowns. I have huge feelings. I have, I will suddenly like feel something horrible and start crying for like an hour and not then like I lose interest in stuff and I hate everything in my life and I just let it roll by. Like it's not everything to me.
You can't
If
base your whole life on your feelings because they are so not volatile but extreme.
yeah, um that like relying on my feelings, well, I mean I uh had severe anxiety, but again that is just an autistic thing, but also like I had uh pretty severe CPTSD. um I don't think I meet the criteria for it anymore. Like my trauma is healed and that I did that. You know what I mean? That didn't just happen. I did that and it had to be active and aggressive. Like I worked through the giant ouches in my brain that were preventing me from being the person that I wanted to be. And being able to enjoy my life or relax for one goddamn second. Um and I had really bad um like survivor's guilt when we moved out here and I felt like I left people behind in bad situations still. People who relied on me to be there, you know.
Yeah.
Um and I developed severe OCD and health anxiety. And all of those things comes from, well, relying that what I was feeling mattered, that what I was feeling was grounded in reality, that what I was feeling was something that I could lean into and rely on. And what you're feeling matters, as in you're feeling it, so you need to fully feel things, but they can't be everything,
Yeah.
right? In my from my point of view, like relying on feeling to interpret the world is a recipe for disaster. Where I'm coming from.
Yeah. Thinking about like how we are very different people. Because I'm still thinking about like the attraction thing between us, where you're like, you feel like it is very important for you to be comfortable and happy in not finding yourself attractive. That feels like a more stable, long-term outlook on like self-image, self-worth.
Yeah, because attraction and being attractive is a societal pressure.
And it's fickle.
And it's very reliant on being young and perfect and wealthy.
Yeah. I think it's different for me, for a couple reasons. For one, do you feel like the way you were raised and socialized, attraction was an obligation you had to fulfill? Like that you were somehow worse of a person, especially like thinking religious upbringing, if
I
you were
think
not an attractive person.
I think I was valued less if I was not attractive and palatable, and interesting. And I have always been very aware of the consequences of not performing, and that wasn't safe. So for me, how I was perceived and being just quirky enough to be interesting, to be palatable, and like worth protecting. That was very important to me. And so now, not feeling that way about myself and not feeding into the need to like perform is a like I mean deeply meaningful, right? Because I am intentionally, every time that I'm not making sure that I am presentable, that I am positively going to be received, I am telling myself I'm safe now. I'm safe, and I don't have to make myself safer.
It's like a reclaiming of self.
No, not really. It's more of uh it's proving how strong I am.
Okay.
Like
That you are not capitulating to that demand anymore.
that I don't have to I don't have to make sure that every person
Feels like an obligation to protect you.
yes, I do not have to be weak and small.
You have the power to protect yourself.
Yeah, and and it's and it is okay even if I don't. I'm allowed to expect care and protection. So I
You don't have to
am
earn protection.
right, and it doesn't matter if people follow through with that, and it doesn't matter if that's actually the way the world works. There is resistance and meaning in expecting the world to be better.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So that's, I guess, kind of like, I'm not just like in this perfect scenario where I don't feel the need to be cared about and protected and interesting. It is, no, I should not have to.
You are putting your foot down and demanding that the world change into the direction it's supposed to.
And I am satisfied even if it doesn't. Even if it won't.
Because you are in the right.
Right.
That is a lot more depth than I was going with what I was saying. No, I think it's valid. But I was mostly thinking about like attraction, especially like beauty and being pretty. I felt like growing up was an obligation for girl-shaped people and not an obligation, not a thing to be considered, in some cases wrong, for boy-shaped people. And on top of that, I am the type of person who finds the vast majority of humans attractive, pretty. I think most people. And so for both of those reasons, I think that is why I feel like my path, I guess, is in, no matter what, finding myself attractive, thinking I am pretty. Because especially pretty was
Something off limits for you.
very not allowed.
Right.
So it feels like it's the two different sides of like, one group is expected to be pretty, the other group is prohibited from being pretty. And so it is like, it's not about, the being safe even in a world that won't acknowledge, like, it's not about a physical safety thing or
Right.
or any sort of safety thing.
Because you're on top.
Yeah, that was never like
A concern for you.
Yeah, growing up, I mean, a little bit, but not nearly to the same extent.
Everyone else, every other demographic is trained from infancy to protect you.
Right. For that reason, I feel like it would not be as healthy for me to be like, no, I'm not attractive and that's fine.
Right.
Because it's the twofold. I get to be attractive and pretty. And also because I see people generally as attractive and pretty. It's another way of reaffirming that I'm a person.
So my point is, your feelings aren't static and they aren't useless and they aren't absolute. So how can you interact with those feelings when it comes to like negative perception? How can you interact with those feelings positively? How can you make it like better? How can you intentionally engage instead of avoiding because it is uncomfortable, because you don't like it? And that's what we're talking about, is you avoid negative emotion as if it is bad and wrong. But
Right.
it limits your life. It limits you.
That is a great question.
You don't have to have the answer.
Yeah.
It is okay for that to be an open
It's
answer.
just enough to have the question for now.
and continue to ask it because you like to forget that a question has been presented to you and keep plotting about.
Well, it's hard to exist.
I can't relate.
Liar.
I'm perfect at it.
Liar.
Wow, that was nice. I feel like I do not have the opportunity to be genuinely vulnerable very often. Because I process so much of what I feel basically right away. Like I am very efficient when it comes to processing my big emotions because I'm so used to it, and I have what I do now that none of it ever feels too vulnerable. Usually, like I'm not tearing my heart open and revealing something that I've not yet expressed or anything because I'm so used to expressing everything all the time.
Yeah.
But like talking about how I view myself, like attractiveness and stuff, is something that I don't process very actively. So like that was genuinely vulnerable. What?
No, that was just a grunt of assent. My head's real fuzzy.
The sun's getting real low, big guy. Boop.
I don't like that you painted my face. I love you.
Ew.
Oh. Can we try that again?
Maybe.
I love you. Okay.
Give me time.
To decide?
No. My PDA is pretty bad.
Didn't notice.
No, not at all.
No. Gave you a statement that implied a response, and you're physically striking me. To autism?
I'm not really that mad. I'm kind of weepy.
No furious. Too serious.
To autism, too serious.
Can't you tell how serious it is by us calling it To Autism Too Serious?
Did you like the video?
Did you have the time
Did you click on the button?
to listen to us whine?
You could like it. You could watch it. You can.
About nothing and everything all at once.
Subscribe.
We need to stop.
Come on, Kai.
Oh, that's going to be so much pain.
Come on, Kai.
It's going to hurt. All right, now face camera. Turn to camera.
Look over here. Do you see this? Look over there.
Turn to camera.
He said
That might be a long turn for his neck.
He said no.
Did we do it?
I think so.
Did we autism?
Yeah, but we weren't mad enough.
Yeah, but actually, I think that is a sign of growth. Because I was just going to say, like, we could start talking about politics and get real mad real fast.
That's so true.
But we're not going to do that.
That's true.
Because we made a choice to protect our mental health. Here's a thing for the folks at home that I might recommend as a good thing. If you live with another person and you are feeling vastly overwhelmed by everything that's happening, what we did is we made a rule that we do not talk about anything to do with current events, I guess. Things that would be upsetting in the home if it is not something that we can do anything about. Because we are both informed people. We do not need to rehash every horrible thing that's happened in the past 24 hours.
We're not spending our time ignoring.
But we are both trusting that we are both aware of what's been going on. And we are not rehashing it because there's no benefit to be gained there. So something to think about.
I'm doing this as an experiment for how long will you continue to do something even though you are fully capable of like standing and ending the video. You wait for me to decide when things are and are not happening.
Oh, interesting. See, I just, I feel like it's your thing.
But you feel that way about everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
But also, like, what if something
Is
really
my
funny
thing.
happens now?
What if?
Yeah.
You never know.
So,
I'm a bucket of laughs.
hey, you watching this, do something funny.
This is gay.
Are you funny? Tell me a joke. Get in the comments and put in your favorite joke. 10 autism, 9 autism, 8 autism, 7 autism, sex autism.
That's the kind I got.